Hey guys, Dave here from Nerdarchy, for nerds, by nerds, hanging out with the full contingent today.
Ryan.
I'm Ted.
Nate.
So Nerdarchy coming at you in mass. Today we got a GM 911 from
Justin Wiley.
Justin Wiley. Okay, so here's the situation. There is a necromancer that has captured a powerful magic item or artifact, and he's fled behind enemy lines. There's an army of orcs and goblins. Oh my. Now the players, they're not out there all by themselves. They have a large force of elves with them. So he wants to know, how should he handle his players trying to get at this necromancer? And in the meantime, there's also the potential for large-scale combat, because there's this fairly large contingent of elves. Some of the players may want to go with them. Some of them may, basically branch off into a strike force. So he's like, how would I handle that?
So they're talking about what ultimately could result to
mass combat.
Splitting the party too.
Yes,
yeah.
Splitting the party and mass combat. Both of which, okay, so splitting the party is always a bad idea for several reasons. One, it's the way they always die. Two, it's just annoying as being the other group that's not playing right now, and the GM going, all right, I have to make sure I'm giving everybody fair play time.
Right. It soaks up a lot of time.
Well, so what I would do with like severe splitting the party, where like for the story purposes it like just really makes sense. Maybe you just, the people that aren't going to be involved and engaged with that just don't show up. You have a session just for like, if you have a large group, say like 3 people of the party that are going out on the strike force. So you have the thing where instead of flipping back and forth, because that's like, all right, great, people are going to get about an hour to play, and then we go here and it's an hour. So people are sitting there for an hour. Maybe you just have
I think you flip back and forth faster.
There's 20 elves, right? Plus their party.
Yes.
The 20 elves go off to the side and try and attract with their bows and stuff. You cast if the people have casting power, I'm assuming they're going to do some kind of beneficial casting on some of the elves, send the elves packing one way, and oh look, some of the orcs just happen to go and follow the elves into the woods because they're dumb. And then your party, including all the PCs, go around the other way, like a flanking maneuver. It's going to split the orcs, because they're going to split. Especially if they're getting arrows shot at them. Otherwise, they're going to get shot in the back with arrows while they focus on the party. So either way, it's good for the party to do that, and plus, you don't split up the party then.
Except for when your Elven Ranger goes, I'm going to lead the elves.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like
players will thought you. That's just the given.
And you can't
Well, then he's not going to be able to kill the
choice.
necromancer at the end, because really, it's a distractionary force.
So here's the deal. Like in my opinion, like okay, so I'll just hold 2 different sessions. Seems to make sense, except for what happens if things happen during one of those sessions where that would bring the party back together.
Right.
Then so then you're stuck with this. You're at impasse. You have to stop.
Well, yeah. So what? The session stops. It goes much shorter than a regular session.
Now he's the GM, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the series is GM 911.
Yeah.
So,
All right. In my opinion, anytime you have NPCs that are involved in essentially combat, in my opinion, it's got to be cinematic. There's no dice rolling. There's no trying to figure out. You just go
to a narrative.
Well, you've got 20 elves, probably got a 50% chance hitting all those orcs, and they're doing like 3 to 10 to 11 damage or whatever.
So you're gonna have
every round. You know what's happening.
You're gonna have 2 or 3 rounds worth of arrows coming from the elves, and that's going to take off a tithe of the orcs' forces. You tell the PCs, all right, well, either you can take part in the orc battle, or you can skirt the battle to go after the necromancer. If a PC tries to say, but I want to be with the elves, whoever is in charge of the elven strike force or unit, whatever you want to call it, remind them about the bigger mission.
Much more important.
It is far more important to stop the necromancer. It's far more important to acquire that.
Basically,
object,
you put it out there that the Orcus forces will scatter once the necromancer is defeated, because Orcus bands can't hold together long unless there is like a great powerful warlord or leader controlling them.
Right.
And I would probably do it I would probably do it like this anyway. I would probably split the elves into groups of 5 anyway, and just have them do hit and run tactics and skirmish all over the place, so that so that it causes more chaos amongst the orcs. And then at the same time, it also, unless each player decides they're going to go with a particular band of elves, gives them less reason to go with the elves, because it's like, well, which band would you go with? So hopefully that would diffuse the situation some more.
You split the party 5 times over.
Yeah.
Or 4 times over.
I wouldn't probably tell them about that tactic. I would just say the elves are going to go off and they're going to act as a distraction.
Basically, the elves could, especially if they're wood elves, and the party isn't, like, hey, you would just slow us down. Like, wood elves with the mobility feat. It's just like, you guys can't keep pace with us, and we're actually better off without you.
Well, see, I would tell them about that part, and here's why. Because, like, you want to have the role playing between whoever's leading the elves and the party anyway. I mean, I would.
Yeah.
And be like, well, this is the plan. We're going to break off into 6 groups of 5 or 4 groups of 5, whatever, because however many elves there are. And we're going to hit here. This is the sequence we use. This is the strategy we use. So this way, you guys have the ability to sneak in why we're doing these runs. And again,
lightly contested. Yeah.
And this way, again, you're re-establishing you the players will be doing this while the NPCs do that.
Right.
Well, and then also too, so that gives you some chances to do some have them some significant roles, like either whether they figure out a plan to get through uncontested, or they're making stealth checks and they fail. They might have some orc encounters that have some tension to them, because it's like you have to kill every last one of them, or they're going to relate that you're in their territory to the host, like the bigger group of the army. So I mean, that could be a nice dynamic happening.
Yeah, or you could do something interesting, like instead of they get found out, like they come across one of the roaming elf bands and they're actually in trouble, and they have to kind of rescue them before they complete the mission. If you wanted to add another dynamic,
or they have the choice to do that or to not help them and like just drive toward the mission and like maybe have a cost that's going to.
Well, that's always true as well. I mean, they don't actually have to help them.
Yeah, they like the greater good. Like so.
Die, elves die.
That's.
Well, in an army, if you stop to help everybody that's in trouble, you're never going to get something done, really. Like, if it's like during the battle. But
I'm not going to war with you. You'd be like, Dave's about to be gutted. I got this thing to do now.
I can see it being very helpful to save some elves that are in a bit of a spot, but,
It's still a moral quandary.
Yeah.
It's still, they have to think about it.
Yeah.
It's an ally, it's a friend. Do I let them die, or do I, shove on?
Yeah, and like you should make it like a fight that is going to expend some of the party's resources, so they're like a little weaker when they carry along the way to head towards that necromancer. So there was an inherent cost in doing that.
But maybe also the elves will join you if you help them out well enough. So.
Well, no, they're still.
I try and avoid that. I freaking hate NPCs in the party, and I hate when my players try and insert them. It makes me want to murder everybody.
Well, so and that's how you win a D&D.
Dave to murder everybody.
But. So I mean, the problem is like
Night Retainer it is.
On paper or like in your imagination, these large scale battles, like running them, sounds like the funnest thing ever, right? You think this is going to be epic and fantastic or whatever. What it really comes down to is a bunch of like droney dice rolling, because it just drags on and on. Like we had a fight last night with a party of 7 and like a dozen of these what is it, Perrins?
Yeah,
Perrins.
Pythons, right?
Peritons.
Right. So there's like
Periton?
so you have like there was only like 19 characters really involved in the fight, and like that lasted forever, and like it like you could try to make it dramatic and things like that, but ultimately those things tend to diffuse down to just rolling dice, and so you want to avoid like mass scale stuff.
That's why I say when NPCs are involved, cinematic is so much easier.
Yeah, just go to the narration and describe what happens, and and it is so much cooler than well, look, I rolled a 12. Over and over again.
I don't understand. Like going into full cinema isn't necessary though. Like I just describe what the NPCs are doing. They take 2 sentences around for me to do what they're doing. I do no dice rolls. I just don't do that.
Yeah, that's what narrative is. That's what cinematic is.
Yeah, but that's for a small section of the combat. It's not like I don't. It's like if you have NPCs in the party, you have to be rolling for them. Or if they're battle around, then you can just ignore them and just make it cinematic. I'm saying do the cinema like right in the party. It doesn't need to. I don't need to like segregate it that much. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. Like, I don't know why Dave hates NPCs so much in the party.
Well, it goes back to player expectations because they want to hear that the NPCs are making the fight easier for them somehow every round, and it's ultimately what they're asking. Like, how many of the monsters has the non-player characters killed for me, so I have to do less work? I'm like, I don't know. How much less XP and loot do you want? Is how I really want to respond because that's really what they're driving at when they do that.
And because they expect them to do something, so I have them do something.
Die. Spill their blood upon the ground.
I'm already writing the whole entire story by speaking it, so I just speak another sentence every round. Done. Problem over.
Next time I would do it.
If it made it easier for them, who cares?
I'd be like, the NPCs begin looting the bodies.
Oh yeah, well, and then that's the thing. Hey, if the PCs have a problem with that, like it looks like they're looting all the bodies. And I'm like, hey, wait, some of that's ours.
It's like, I don't know how much work you guys did. We took out. Look at all these fletch arrows. These arrows all have my fletching.
Yeah. Be like, count the black fletchings.
Look at these fletchings. Look how they're marked NPC.
As they're looting, he's sticking another arrow in.
I claim this land or this body in the name of
the
the elves.
halflings going around with a giant sack of arrows.
You got the guy who's clearly had his his side split open by the dude with a great sword, and he just sticks an arrow into it.
But I mean, you're absolutely right. You can do it that way. It doesn't take that much extra time, but it does take extra time, and I rather have everything be about the players. That's just my opinion and how I like to do things.
Trying to be heroes, be a hero.
Yeah, there's the DM side and there's the player side, right? And I don't like to mix the two together. Don't get your DM side into my player side.
Chocolate and peanut butter taste delicious together.
Yeah. Yeah, but gamers taste like Cheetos and Mountain Dew.
You don't want to mix those flavors.
No.
Yeah.
All right, so
I'm not hungry anymore.
I think we covered this one, and we're way off topic now. If you guys out there have any suggestions for Justin as to how he should handle this orcs and elves combat, put it in the comments below. While you're doing that, feel free to click like, share, even subscribe.
You can further discuss the delicious flavor combinations of Cheetos and Mountain Dew in the comments below, or you can hang out with those over on nerdarchy.com.
Well, while you're at nerdarchy.com, check out Nerdarchy the store.
Dun, dun, dun.
You can also patronize us in a good way at our Patreon account.
So until next time, stay nerdy.